TMZ, I guess, got a response from Logan Paul. We're going to take a look at it.
Sucks. There's no other way to put it. I found out about Pearl was in yesterday. She was not at the home that I dropped her off at.
People who claim you can get bacon without similar abuse that Pearl went through are so out of touch. Yes, it is so much worse. What do you mean? Pigs that are bred for cooking are still pigs. They're brilliant animals in comparison to the rest of the animals, okay? Yes, they eat one another as well, but ultimately, if you're thinking of like, is something going on in there? Yes, there is something going on in there. I know that, and I still eat them because I am a species, okay? And my like hyper-rational attitude with respect to animals is that our proximity to them and our utility that we get out of them is what creates a hierarchy that is otherwise unjustifiable with respect to like, what kind of utility we get out of them. A pig that you believe is going to be a pet pig, all of a sudden, not edible. That's harm. A cat or a dog, domesticated. Cats aren't really domesticated, but dogs are domesticated. You can't eat them, or if you do eat them, people look at you weird. They go, what are you doing? You can't do that. Why? Because of our utility. We see dogs and cats as companions, okay? Which is why seen as like very odd when people eat cats and dogs, okay? Name that trade argument incoming from vegans in the chat. I know, I don't care. I don't want to do the name the trade argument. I've always said that like if I was not a speciesist, vegans' arguments would be held. Vegans' arguments are correct. They're morally righteous, but like ultimately, just listen. My point is this, okay? My point is this, okay? Vegans are great. I mean, you know this already. You know that's my take on this. Stop trying to advocate for cats and prove my point about how cat owners are literally insane. Every time I bring up cats, I'm not even saying anything bad about cats right now. Please stop, okay? A pig is no longer bacon the moment that you decided it's supposed to be a teacup pig, but it's not a teacup pig, it's a real life hog. All of a sudden, we can't eat that, even though the process of eating the pig itself is still incredibly cruel, okay? Super cruel, okay? Some cultures would actually consider that to be way more considerate of the animal by, like, consuming the animal instead of just leaving it out in the dirt. But from what I understand, he didn't do either of those things. He actually left it with another farm across the street, and then that farm basically left the pig out to pasture, I guess.
Which I visited myself and left her in great condition.
You took her to this farm in Santa Clarita. Do you have any idea when or why that farm where you did take her to be rehomed, why they gave her up to someone else?
So apparently that ranch owner moved to Nevada and could not take Pearl with her. So that homeowner or ranch owner gave Pearl to the farmer across the street. And then, to my understanding, that farmer called the Gentle Barn to come pick her up.
People figured out it was your pig, and then there was all this backlash, and people were, because the way that TikTok went out, it did make it seem like you were the person who had abandoned Pearl.
Yeah. The verbiage they used was she was irresponsibly rehomed. So the first thing I did was I checked myself. I said, wait a second, was she irresponsibly rehomed by me? Absolutely not. She was put in an amazing horse ranch where she lived an amazing life for 10 months. When that homeowner relocated and the pigs swiped hands again, it was something that I didn't know was taking place. And apparently that farmer called the Gentle Barn to come pick her up. I found this out yesterday, and I emailed the Gentle Barn immediately and offered to help in any way I could.
Sounds like total, bro. What do you mean? I think Logan Paul does a lot of, okay, Crypto Zoo being one of the latest events. But like this one is not necessarily one of those instances. Like he had the pig grew, and the pig was fine for a long period of time. Then he responsibly rehomed it. I have no reason to believe that he didn't do that because it's like the most basic that you can do.
Cuddled with this pig. I slept with this pig. She was in my life for 2 to 2.5 years. And she lived the best life ever. She was regularly bathed, ate meals that were like gourmet for a pig, had a 30-foot by 50-foot pen, had an apartment of her own. Like, I loved this pig. And so, yeah, seeing that video was heartbreaking to me. I thought Pearl was in a safe, healthy condition and state. And when I found out that she was not.
His dog ate his bird and the coyotes ate the dog. Okay, the coyotes eating the dog is not necessarily his fucking fault, bro. What do you mean? That's like Los Angeles lifestyle, baby. The dog eating the bird is crazy, though.
And it's man, and I want to do everything I can to help. It's why I emailed the Dental Barn, and like I was gonna keep this private, but like social media loves to do what they want, and the armchair quarterback.
You eat chicken every day. I just literally think human beings are at the top of the food chain. Like I'm telling you, I'm a speciesist. I will do things to defend human beings before I defend animals. Okay, most of you would as well. To me, I say, well, no, it doesn't matter. I literally, I would still choose, eating animals over not eating them. Okay.
Trying to make assumptions about who I am and how I treat animals. I've grown up with animals my whole life. And whenever, if ever they have to be rehomed, I make sure they're in responsible homes that can take care of them accordingly.
Have you heard from Gentle Barn or anybody about how Pearl's doing?
They have not reached back out yet. No. Yeah, and the other thing they made a fuss about was that they said there was a second pig found with Pearl, and I looked into that as well. Pearl was transferred alone, so the farmer, who I haven't spoken to yet, denies knowing anything about a second pig, and I don't know what that is or if that's even true, but there was no second pig. Pearl was transferred alone. I'm just going to do everything I can to continue being a good person and making situations right should they spring up like this one. Like, this was unpredictable, this was unforeseen, and I wish I could have gone back in time and told the past version of myself.
Say a hyper-intelligent alien species comes down to Earth. What's your argument as to why they should farm us? We're animals to them. I mean, they probably will do that, especially if we can't communicate with them. And at that point, it's like, you know what I mean? Let's say that happens. What are you going to do? Be like, oh, man, well, what are you going to do? Are you not going to have a club sandwich with a little bit of bacon in it? At that point, it's like, didn't evolve fast enough. Sorry. We bought a second pig called Piggy Smalls to keep Pearl company. So where did the second pig go? Oh, anyway, I do think that he has done a lot of, I don't know if this is one of those instances. I mean, buying the teacup pig when, like, do they even have, is that even a real thing? It's not, right? They always just like lie and say it's a teacup pig when that's not like a real pig, but it's just always like a... Anyway, the point is he does have the at least facilities and money to be able to take care of a pig, which he did. And then he basically rehomed the pig in a decent living quarter. But I think everyone's just like, for understandable reasons, on Logan Paul. So they just like kind of moved on with this without like really looking into it that much, or without really like technically considering their genuine, well thought out stances on this. If you do your due diligence and basically put rehome the pig in a farm and then don't follow up after that, that's crazy. Like, you're insane. I'm sorry, your expectation is wild. I'm sorry, but it's so irresponsible to buy an animal and then get rid of it when it grows up. Yeah, animals are animals. Okay, humans are humans. And ultimately, I do believe that Logan Paul was, I would say, surprisingly responsible given his track record on how he treats human beings with this pig. Like, it is, I think he was better than expected.